Okay, we're using their spare labor. So
Exactly.
I'm assuming, that might make an ass out of you. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Bay Area stats.
Well, what happens when you say, I presume? Then you make a...
Presume instead of assume?
Yeah. Welcome to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host. Here's our format. A bunch of guys sitting around a bar. There's no bar. Having drinks. There's no drinks either. But we're talking business, and you, the audience, are listening in. The Best of Investing is actually a radio show that has been around since August 2010, and it airs every Saturday on Fox News Radio, 9:10 a.m. at 1 p.m. Now, we're not a political show. We're strictly business, so everyone will be happy with that. Remember, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome! You're listening to the Best of Investing on Fox News Radio, 9:10 a.m. You know this show. It's where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. For those of you listening for the first time, here is our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience, listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm honored to have as my partners in crime, Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's premier private lender, and Brian Burke of Praxis Capital. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. And the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. You can reach them at 916-777-5511. Check them out. And today's trivia theme is famous people named Mark. Now,
I know one of those.
Now, sorry, Brian. Maybe next week we'll have the famous people named Brian, all 2 of them. I can't think of that many Brians. Not too many of them. Okay. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. Also, if you want to record our show in the future, go to dar.fm, type in the Best of Investing, and listen to our show at your leisure. And today we have a couple of special guests. I've known Myriam McCarthy for a number of years, and her partner in crime is Cathy Youngling. And I'm going to just give a quick little synopsis here. They are members of the Top Agent Network, which is the top 125 agents in Marin. And Cathy is a senior real estate specialist and e-pro agent and holds her broker's license. Cathy is also known as being creative and a savvy marketeer. And Myriam Noel McCarthy, and that's Myriam with a Y, attended the Parsons School of Design in New York City, and she calls herself a contradiction between creative visionary and analyst strategist. Their team includes stagers, painters, pest control inspectors, contractors, attorneys, landscapers, etc. Ladies, welcome to the Best of Investing.
Thanks, we're glad to be here.
Thank you.
All right, now let's get it right into the special. First of all, Myriam, as I remember, you were a former runway model in New York City and movie production.
Yeah, that's correct. That was years ago.
Years ago. Now, you still look good. Now, the audience doesn't know what you look like, so give them your Facebook page so they can see what you look like.
Oh, boy. Okay, you can go to Myriam Noel McCarthy. It's Myriam with a Y, M-Y-R-I-A-M. And I've stepped a long way. It's been a long time since I've been a model. So.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a lot of fans on your page, Myriam?
I wouldn't call them fans, more like friends.
That's still kind of the same way.
Friend her on Facebook.
Okay, now tell us, what can a good agent do for a seller, such as being quarterback of the team, with the stagers and painters?
Well, I'll tell you, if you don't have an agent in charge of that marketing technique, you're going to really be missing the boat. Because you've got a very sophisticated market here in Marin where we expect homes to look perfect. And if you walk in and your house isn't looking perfect, you're going to be the one who doesn't sell it. So we've got a pretty good thing going here, that Myriam's got the design eye, and we've got lots of experience in knowing what buyers are looking for.
Now, Cathy, you say that in Marin, you make that reference because, of course, you're specialists in the Marin real estate market, but I can tell you, as someone who makes loans to real estate rehabbers and flippers all over the Bay Area, that's important everywhere. Maybe talk a little bit about how important staging is to actually getting a home sale in this market where some of the buyers are fewer and further between.
You're right, and you're right about staging being beyond here, but there are still some markets where you don't see it as much, like in Sacramento County. You know, that's one where they're just starting to learn staging. But what we've learned in the more immediate Bay Area is that when it's such a competitive market, if your home looks old and tired and you walk in and you see everybody else's stuff around there instead of seeing yourself in there, then it's harder to make that mental commitment to that home. And also it decreases its sense of value. Myriam, don't you think that over time people realize that a home that really looks good and shows well from the beginning speaks to the value of that home?
For sure, it will sell in less time and for a lot more money than an unstaged home. Buyers these days walk into a house and about probably the first 5 minutes they decide whether they want to buy it or not. So visually appealing is very important.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that where, you know, a buyer will make up their mind before they put their hands on the doorknob.
And we've noticed the same thing. You know, we buy, fix, and resell a lot of houses ourselves, and we've staged in some areas, and in some areas we haven't staged. And I think we see the houses that we've staged in the areas where we do staging to sell faster and at a little bit higher price point. And especially in the upper price tier, the more expensive the house, the more important it is to stage it. The very, very low price tier, maybe they overlook some of those kinds of things.
Yeah, when we sold our house on Las Colinas, we had it staged, and we were convinced that, you know, the price paid for the staging would more than compensate for the fact of time is money. And it was funny, we had, my daughter was young, and we went to the house one time after it had been staged just to kind of see what was going on. And I mean, I personally didn't like it, but it wasn't my decision. It's the realtor's decision, right? Yeah. So anyway, we go to the bathroom, the kids' bathroom, and for some reason they decided to change the wallpaper, do all this stuff, put a bunch of ducks, right? And my daughter, for whatever reason, she goes, "Daddy, they ducked up my bathroom. It's all ducked up."
That's funny.
Well, and isn't it true that, you know, I know some homeowners might think, well, I've got nice furniture, so I'll just leave my furniture in. But isn't one of the tricks of staging is it's actually not truly livable. Generally, you walk in and it's not the way normal people would live, the way it's staged, but it does something.
Nobody lives here.
Again, it's marketing. It's a technique. Isn't that true?
Yeah. It's totally true. You want the buyer to see themselves in that home. I can give you a perfect example. I had a listing, a pretty high-end home, and it was a beautiful, very modern home where there were seamless glass windows with a view of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. Just stunningly beautiful, but very modern. The people that own that home like French provincial things, you know, so there are little angel heads on the wall and flowers here, and it just didn't go. I mean, you walked in there, and not only did you not see yourself in this home, but you couldn't see the house.
Yeah, and I've looked at that too, where I mean, I've looked at staging, again, for our own house, and I said, you know what, I gotta get my emotions, my taste totally out of it, because I'm not the buyer. I mean, if purple sells, then you paint the house purple.
Right, and purple doesn't often sell, by the way. And this house had a lot of pink and purple in it. So what we did finally was to convince the people that even though they loved their things, we had to get those things out of there. And we had been on the market for, I don't know, a couple months, and it wasn't selling for those reasons. And when we went in there and neutralized the home and brought in more modern elements to really show the style of that house, we sold it in a week.
Okay. All right, people, we are going to go to our first commercial break. We're in the studio here with the following: Mark Hahn, Pacific Private Money, my co-host; Brian Burke, Praxis Capital, my co-host; and the two lovely ladies, Cathy Youngling and Myriam McCarthy, who are specialists in their areas, and we're going to get into other areas which you help. So, Brian, you're going to ask an excellent question.
Yeah, you know, usually when you hear people talking about hiring a real estate agent to sell their property, they're talking in the singular sense and hiring one real estate agent. I understand that you guys work together as a team, so I'm curious, what's the benefit of hiring a team to help me sell my property versus hiring an individual agent, and does that cost double?
Well, you might do everything just perfectly well, but most of us are better in some things than others. And with having somebody else next to you that kind of fills in the gaps, that's one thing that's great about it. But it's just time-wise, too. I mean, you can't be everywhere at the same time. I was a single agent for a very long time before Myriam joined me a couple of years ago. And the quality of what I give to my clients is exponentially higher and better. And the availability is just gigantic.
People tend to underestimate how much work goes into selling a house, don't
Really?
they? So there's
Really?
a lot of time involved in there.
There's a lot of things that comes into play. I mean, you can't be a great designer and be a great analyst and be a great negotiator and have the vision and do the photography. You can't have, not one person has all these skills.
Oh, I
and
was
tools.
pretty good at it though.
Now, the team
She
concept-
was very good at it, but it's even better now.
Yes.
So is-
And
is-
so Cathy and I are totally the yin and the yang, and we debate all the time
Mhm.
on price and this.
What do you mean? Do we really debate? I don't know about that.
Yeah, see, I want somebody
Yeah, we
fighting
debate.
over how to sell my house. That actually sounds pretty good, right?
And we can come up with all sorts of different strategy and really see a whole different new picture.
It's kind of hard
really
to
works
brainstorm
really
by
well.
yourself, I guess.
Our clients
Yeah,
have
that's
been
true.
very happy.
So, okay, I got a hard question for you. All right. What about hiring an agent on an hourly basis and doing a FSBO, which stands for sale by owner, and cut you guys right out of it?
Well,
Hard
then
question.
what you'll do is you'll try for a while and then you'll call me, because I've certainly had that happen before. One guy that I can think of tried that 3 times in a row, and then 3 times in a row, and then he finally called me, and then we put this house on the market and we had it sold within a month. So he said, well, that was stupid of me to do. Why is it stupid? Well, you know how this world is right now. There's a new disclosure every time you turn around. There's been a lawsuit, somebody gets sued for something, there's a new form. Do you know that as a seller of your home on your own? Do you know what forms are required? Will you be sued later on because you didn't?
Well, can I add something here? I personally, and it's funny, I had a friend of mine, actually it was a friend of my dad's years ago, and he said, you know what, the agent's commission is the cheapest commission you'll ever pay. And to me, here's that's true. Well, here to me, this is the easiest way to figure this out. As a shrewd buyer, the first thing they do when they say, oh, it's a for sale by owner, well, you're not paying a commission, so they
Yep.
automatically
We're gonna
lower
lower
the
the price.
price by
Right,
the
that's
commission
right.
anyway.
Well, free lunch.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to do that every time.
So how do people get a hold of you besides going on Myriam's personal Facebook page?
Type at our personal website is realmaringal.com. And
All
you
right,
can
let's
also
get-
You
keep
can
up with
also
that.
Yeah,
Google,
that's
you can
pretty
also
fancy.
Google Cathy and Myriam, and you'll find us that way. Cathy
Yeah.
and Myriam with a Y as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910. You know our show. It's where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hahn of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing private lender, Robert Schiff of RPM Mortgage, and Lou Botwall of Linsco Private Ledger. And our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. The vacations are free. They only request a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Check them out. You can reach them at 916-777-5511. And today's trivia theme, drum roll, is injuries in sports. That'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
A little hurtful, but that's okay. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. And we're also on television, Comcast Channel 26 on Saturdays at noon. And if you're listening to the radio, you just missed an hour's worth of TV of us. And Sundays at 6 p.m. you can catch us there. And today, Lou, why don't you start us off with what's going on in the stock market?
Well, I wanted to dig in real quick because we've hit the July timeframe where we kind of take a deep breath and measure what's happened this year so far in the marketplace, specifically, what the returns have been and really where we're headed. It's an election year, which is always a fun year because in the end, we kind of hit a pause button between now and November, trying to figure out what's going to happen. There is a fiscal cliff we'll talk about coming up, but I want to comment on a few quick things. One is, if you look at just the S&P 500 this year, we're up close to 9%, 8.9%, as of June 30th of this year, which is a real nice return. I'd take that any day, any week, any month of the year. It's actually been a really good start to the year. We kind of had that very bad August last year, remember, where we're arguing over the debt ceiling and all those things, and from that point forward, things really moved ahead with the August time frame going to September, October, but really ramped up December, January, February, March. March we kind of peaked. We've come down since then. So
What happened though since June 30th.
June 30th is the mark of the 6 months.
Yeah. No, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've always had 6 years of high school. So, okay, no, what I meant was from June, let's say July 1st to now.
The
I know the market's
fiscal
up
year.
quite a bit. Yeah. Well, no. Just wondering, how's the market done just in July so far?
In July so far,
yeah.
it's well, as of this week, it's about flat for the month of July.
Oh, okay, because we
So-
had some 6 down sessions. But,
Right, we're up today.
okay.
We're up. Should I say this week? On Friday, we hit about a 200-point upturn during
Okay.
intraday trading. The market's probably going to close, I think, between 130, 170 today. So.
Now, it used to be in the old days that the market was about 18 months ahead of the economy. But I know it's all, everything's
Really?
changed.
Was it
I mean,
that- was
there
it that long?
Yeah, about 60 in the
Wow.
60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s.
Now it's about 5 minutes ahead with Reddit and everything.
Well, it changes so much.
Yeah.
It's a futures game. Everyone's trying
Yeah.
to price where things are going. We got some good news and bad news every single week. You know, unemployment came out last week, which was very negative. Consumer sentiment came out this week, which is not very positive. And the reason why people are not feeling good right now is because we're up almost 12% for the year in March, and we dropped about 2.5%. So that March to June 30th time frame was very negative.
Okay, well, remember, this is the happy show, so we only like to hear good news. keep the bad news to yourself.
So what's the good news for stock investors?
The good news is everyone's still getting paid dividends, and the rate of return on dividend-paying stocks has been quite high.
And it's still in
actually,
dollars.
It's still in dollars. I mean, that stretches another question, which is, what's going on over in Europe and China. China this week was in a real crosshairs of everyone talking about their GDP report, which was not very positive. And if it's kind of this trickle-down effect, that's what we have to remember now, is that we are interdependent like we weren't 20 years ago, like you mentioned. And, if China's not buying stuff from Germany, and Germany's not buying stuff from us, and we're not buying stuff from China, it kind of circulates around the globe, and you kind of have this general slowdown.
That's why they bought the Olympic clothes from China.
Exactly.
Well, it's like when you buy a toy